Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We'll give folks just a minute to get in here and then we'll get started. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Paul Bierman. I'm the Director of Education and Events for MBNA. Welcome to today's webinar, AI in Action. As an MBNA provided webinar, this webinar does count for education credit for the Certified Memorialist Program. Your attendance is recorded and you will be able to claim your credit when applying to become a CM or to maintain your certification. This webinar is being recorded and will be available to members free of charge via the MBNA website. Any questions you have today, please feel free to put them either in the meeting chat or in the Q&A section. You'll see it down at the bottom of your screen. And with that, I will turn things over to Nathan Lange, owner of Northland Companies and MBNA's current president.
Thank you, Paul. Welcome, everybody. Again, my name is Nathan Lange. I know a lot of people out there. I am the current MBNA president, and I'm going to give you a little talk about AI and ChatGPT and all that fun stuff here. So this is kind of a rendition of what we do here in our company and what I do using this day to day. And I'm just going to go through some stuff that I've learned and tips and tricks, and feel free to ask questions. I'm not an absolute expert in AI. Again, this is going to be more using it in the business side, not so much in the design side. That's a whole nother realm we can learn about there. So I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, so today, again, we're going to go through this using AI and boosting your monumental business operations with smart tools. I know historically in the monument industry, a lot of monument companies are slow to technology. Hence, there's still fax machines and whatnot. And what's not broken don't need to be fixed. But with the coming technologies and stuff that are out there, I definitely believe that this is going to be something that we should be all looking at. Again, my name is Nathan Lange, and I live in Longville, Minnesota. I have a wife, a daughter, a son, and my son recently got married last fall. So, and I'm going to be becoming a grandpa here soon. So, again, I live in northern Minnesota, up in kind of the middle of nowhere. I own Northland Companies, which covers Northland supply side that does landscape masonry supplies, our monument division, my insulation division, and my property division. Currently, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are using AI and some sort of others, and how often you're using it. It kind of dictates different things, but a lot of people are using it and they're probably not even knowing that they are. I mean, if you have Google recently, it asks you almost every time you log in, do you want to switch to AI model? And it does. I mean, just simply, what is a monument builders? And the very first thing you get is an AI overview. And that's going to be the current trend and the current way things are headed, the way it looks to me. The big question I got actually even this week in the Southern, talking about this is like, will AI take over everybody's job? That's a definite no. But I do believe AI won't replace you as a person, but a person using AI effectively might. So the tasks are going to change. AI will automate your repetitive stuff, your rule-based tasks, data entry, scheduling, some basic drafting, but your human judgment, creativity, relationship building will all remain essential. I do believe that obviously we all need human interaction, and AI and chat and all of these tools that are out there are not perfect. You're going to have to fix them after they're typed. You're going to have to make them your own, and you're going to have to do some work. So this isn't the bullseye that is there, a silver bullet that just type it in and it makes it go away. Sales teams may use AI to generate leads, but you're still going to have to, handle negotiations, build trust with customers, and so on. The biggest thing, AI with the automated, repetitive, rule-based tasks like a data entry, basic drafting, scheduling, and again, human interactions will still be there. Big thing with ChatGTP, launched in November 22. It reached 1 million users in 5 days. And today his user base has reached 400 to 500 million. I did a similar talk just like this in October of last year, and the stat on that at that time was 200 million. So from October to today, it's well over doubled. The AI programs that I use frequently, I've talked about these to anybody that wants to listen. I use Read AI. And now if you've ever had a Zoom call with me, you're going to get probably an email from them, because I use Read on all of my Zoom calls to listen in, records it, breaks it all down for me, and gives me bullet points. Plod AI for taking meeting notes. We have ChatGTP. I use the paid version, and then Google AI Overview. First thing with Read AI. Again, this is an AI that I use that attaches to all of my Zoom calls. And what it does is I'll just give you a quick, it's an online note taker that connects to your Zoom or Teams and provides a summary of the calls. So we'll play this here. If you can see, it records all of my different calls that I have and who they're with, the date, where they came from. It breaks down the summary of the meeting, what it's about. It actually records the entire thing too. It breaks down into chapters and topics. It breaks down your action items that you need. Now these aren't perfect, but they do a lot of this stuff, what it is. So the nice thing about it is if you're having reoccurring calls, for instance, I have my sales calls with my landscape sales guys every 2 weeks, and it's all recorded. What it does is like literally gives me the day before. I have it set up that it gives me a recap of the last meeting for this meeting, so that anything we say in that meeting that says, here's our action items, I have a recording of that, and it shows exactly what we're supposed to do at this current meeting. So with everything going on, it definitely is a huge time saver for me. This also gets sent out to everybody else, so they have their rendition of and their action items that need to take place as well, without taking notes and sending out emails after the fact. The biggest one that's used and is going to be out there, and most people, there's a bunch of different AIs that are used, Perplex and ChatGTP. I use ChatGTP. Obviously, I use the paid version as well. It's a lot faster, and it remembers all your stuff for you. So the most common uses of the ChatGTP, you're going to have answering your questions. It's no different than a Google. It'll get helps, facts, explanations. You can writing help with essays, emails, stories, blog posts, and so on. You learn if you want to help study complex topics or give examples. Problem solving, you can use this to brainstorm ideas or solve problems. So a big thing with that is, we're looking at bringing on some new products within our company, and I'm brainstorming ideas on there, and I'm actually like chatting with ChatGTP just like I would be a person in front of me about, the market share, who's doing this, what, the on and on and on. So, we talked about, even when I was looking at another location, I'm Googling or ChatGTPing the amount of people there, their age demographic, what's the market share going to look like. I'm asking it all these questions, and it's giving me feedback on all of that stuff. Summarizing, this is a huge one for me. You get a long email, or you get a letter written to you, or you get an article, you can copy paste it in there, and it makes a lot, a 5-second read and bullet points it for you. And again, the idea generation, like, different ideas, hobbies, personal projects. It doesn't just have to be business. My wife has a great one. She literally puts in there like a, high protein meal idea for the next 5 days, and it spits out ideas. You can change it, and then it'll actually say, give me a shopping list, and it'll give a shopping list too. So there's so many things you guys can do with this. You know, a huge one you see right now, content creation, right? Social media posts. Again, these are all things that'll pop up. My opinion is on these, don't just copy and paste. Also do some editing so that it is yours, not just 100% ChatGPT created. You know, a big one is with your SEO, you know, blogs, like how long does it take to write a blog post? Well, nowadays you can type in the content you want to do it, put it on a blog, basically huge help for SEO and web help with that. Customer service, you can create templates, you can create your chatbot scripts. That's going to be a huge thing coming up. We're just starting to play with is chat on your website. You know, if you've ever been to Delta, you've been to them guys. I mean, a lot of that chatbots you can build them out to answer the questions you want for your frequently asked questions. Brainstorming and idea generation, again, like any new ideas you guys having coming up, planning events or workshops, you know, what am I going to need to feed somebody for 50 people or whatnot? It's a huge help with all of that stuff. Data analysts, you can analyze spreadsheets and create charts. And this is a big one too for businesses, in my opinion. Now, you know, I'll get further in there on what personal information you want to feed into chat, but it doesn't have to be 100%, you know, information. But let's say you're going to analyze some numbers in your company. You can pull it straight off of your profit and loss list and say, here's my top line revenue, here's my cost of goods sold, and here's my payroll. You know, what percentage of my payroll is based off my revenue, and how does that compare to other companies in my industry? You could take that same information and say, how does my cost of goods sold with these numbers compare from last year to this year? I mean, it will make you graphs on that. It will pull up the information on that, and then you can sit and answer questions. Again, it's numbers out of your account, but you're not giving them your bank account, right? You're just copy and pasting from a sheet that's made with your account numbers. You can base your inventory or your inventory numbers based off of your top line revenue to keep track of those numbers. I mean, it's a very useful tool when it comes to data analyzing. Project efficiency too. Obviously, checklists help with goal setting, create your templates for tasks. You know, SOPs are huge, especially if you want to continue to grow and you're hiring new people. Another thing that's recent, you know, with this is going to be feed AI your company info. So regardless of the chat you're using, I recommend doing this. You're going to feed your information into it. And why you should do that? One, it gives you personalized responses. So if you have the paid version of any one of the AIs that you use, I recommend that. You know, you can go in there and you can put in the product and service you provide, your core values, your ideal customer profile. You can actually help build your ideal customer, your systems and processes, your service areas. You can put all of this information and tell it to store that for you. Again, you're not going to put personal stuff in there as far as your bank account number, but put that information in there. That way the responses, as time goes on, this is going to build them to response to you. Like, for instance, my wife and I actually share one, and we actually, like, I tell them, like, hey, this is Nathan, and respond like I would. And my wife does the same thing. So it knows even who you're talking to. When you do this, I mean, a big thing, it's almost becomes your assistant, not just a generic Google or chatbot that you're working with. Again, what you shouldn't, I mean, if you got sensitive customer data, names, payment information, personal addresses, your private financials, bank account, I mean, that's all stuff you're not going to want. This is the internet. So, you know, put it out there as needed, but it's an online tool and should be used just as that. I'm going to go through a quick thing here on a quick way. I've shared this quite a few people, but create systems and procedures. This makes it about as easy as you can. Now I'm going to show you guys this quick video here, and then because we're going to break this all down and kind of show you how this works. This video is going to be a quick walkthrough on how to shut the power off in our shop if the power company is calling for a demand charge where they want us to shut down. I think you guys can hear the video, correct? Typically want to do this 3 to 5 minutes before the designated time. So you're going to want to walk into the shop. You're going to walk around. Each one of the pieces of equipment has a shut off on the wall. So this is just a simple way to create a system and procedure. I grab my iPhone and walk through my shop. This door is open on the heavy stock end, and as well as the door on the other end. Now you want these doors open because once the power is off, you will not be able to walk or drive, open them. So you want to be able to drive equipment in there after the power supply is shut down. Another one, walk into the monument room and make sure everything is shut down and that door is open as well. Go into the electrical room here. You're going to want to make sure you have a flashlight, whether it be on your phone or something, because once you kill the power in here, it is going to get dark. You can see over on the panels that each one of our panels has a number. They're numbered 1 through 9. As you can see, they're clearly labeled on the top there, panel 1, panel 2, and so on, all the way around the entire room. So what you're going to want to do is panel 1 is our floor heat. So that one's typically off right in the summertime. But panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, panel 4, panel 5, panel 6, panel 8, and panel 9 all get disconnected. They all get shut down. So only the one panel stays on. So what you're going to do is just walk over to the panel, open it up, and you're going to want to just flip the main breaker. So this should be the last panel you do, but you flip that main breaker off, and that'll disconnect all the power in the shop. So the other nice thing is it either should be turned on back on at night after the allotted time, because the air conditioners and stuff do not run, or in the morning. This will have to be turned on right away in the morning, and then each individual machine will also have to be turned on. So a pretty quick video, right? I mean, so this is something we do in our shop probably a handful of times a year. And if I'm not personally here, it was kind of like one of those repetitive things like, hey, which panels do we need to be on? And it's easy when I'm in there, but when I'm not in there, I can't. So I made this short video, part of our training series. Then what I did was I took that video and I uploaded it into a program called descript.com. Now this program, it's used a lot in like podcasts and a bunch of different things. It'll make short videos, it'll whatever. Biggest thing that I use this program for is to transcribe the entire video. So this video was transcribed over there on the left. You can see that it was transcribed, the entire, all my wording. And what we did then is I'm just right here. I'm going to copy all of this video. So it's just going to copy all of my wording. I'm going to copy, paste it. I'm going to open up ChatGPT. I'm going to post it in there. And I'm going to say, make me a procedure, a 10-step procedure that out using this transcription or whatever. And what that's going to allow me to do in all of these repetitive tasks when you're showing your employees, two things. It's going to make sure that you're consistent in this. And then it's going to make sure that you don't have to be there, right? If you want to grow and you want to scale and you want to do this, these are the little things that, you know, you got to make yourself that you don't have to do. So I'm going to copy, I'm going to paste that in there, and I'm going to hit go, and it's going to give me my 10-step procedure. Again, there it is, all 10 steps, pretty easy. We put that in our procedures folder, give that, I think it's even taped to the wall back there so that, you know, everybody there has it, has used to it. Pretty simple. Now, this is just one of them. Now, you can use this same procedure for, or same process for cutting stencil. You could use this for loading a truck, making sure the tools are on the truck. All of these different things, it's very simple to do. And again, I use just my iPhone and a video to create that and then just upload it and away you go. And here's my 10-step procedure. Again, pretty simple overall. So that's one way to do that, is going to be your video. Now, a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to do a video. I don't want to be in the video. We found it better when there is a video to watch versus being just written down. It really takes the guesswork out of it. And both of them, when you video it and then take the transcription and turn it into that, it really really ends up working best because there's no middle ground there. The next step, though, is going to be you can also use this plod.ai. Now, this device, it's like about the size of a credit card. Actually, they have a new one now, too, it's super small. Now, this is just a video or an audio recorder that uses AI with this. So the Plod, it's a great tool. It's the first ChatGPT powered voice recorder. Now you can record phone calls with this. You can record stuff in your office. You can record meetings, cemeteries. It again, whatever you tell it to do, it pairs with your phone, and then you're able to open up the ChatGPT or open up the Plod app, and it'll give you the bulletproof points of what you said, or it'll transcribe the entire conversation. This is what it is. There's different places. This was just from their website this morning. I pulled it off there. This is the one I have. They also have the Plod Note, which is smaller. I use this a lot in different things. There's a few different things you can use with the Plod. I've talked to quite a few guys. Let's say you have a cemetery that kind of always a pain in the butt. Bring that with and have it recorded. Set it there. You also then you have a complete transcription of the call. You have a employee review. Tell the employee like, hey, I'm just letting you know, like this is going to be recorded. It sits on the table. You're having a conversation, and then what it does is it spits out the bullet points of that conversation back to you. I used it in interviews. We recently just hired a salesperson, and a shop foreman, excuse me, and we had 3 different people we did multiple interviews with each, and it was very tough to decipher, and I had Plod in there and all of them, and it spits out the exact bullet points for each person. It gives you a synopsis, and honestly, we put that into ChatGPT and said, what do you feel about this person for these job titles? And also, we also use a program called Predictive Index to use their personalities to hire, to give us insight. Now, again, it's all just information. Take what you want from it. That's the biggest thing you're going to learn. But the Plod AI has been a real changer. We actually just had a meeting not too long ago, and it was a sales call, and we're talking about leads and all of these different things, and it was in person, and we had the Plod sit there the whole time. It listened to us, and it gave a synopsis of the entire meeting, and we were able to send that out to our salespeople saying, like, here's the bullet points from our meetings. Please go on. Again, ChatGPT is a great tool. Accuracy and reliability, it's not always 100% correct. So you do have to do your due diligence on it, because it is searching the internet for it. So it can provide outdated or inaccurate information. So you should definitely, fact check yourself on that stuff. And then again, it has no access to real-time data, and I believe that's on purpose so that it doesn't get skewed different directions. Obviously, it's on purpose. As of today, the ChatGPT's knowledge has been cut off as of October 23. So that's how it looks at everything past 23. So if you're looking for real-time data, ChatGPT anyways is not doing that. So just take that into consideration. And again, they're huge amount of information, and it all comes from the internet. So, not everything you read on the internet is true. It's also when it comes to chat on that. So do your due diligence on that. Obviously, the privacy and data usage. It is private. Your information, you're putting it out on the internet. So anything you do put out there, definitely realize that it could be taken. But the big part and the big takeaway, with the chat, copyright and intellectual property, who actually owns the information from ChatGPT. The big thing, again, with all of these programs, what I like about chat is you can go back and forth with it. You're like, if you're writing a document, you can be like, hey, write me a document on explaining what monument builders in North America is. And then it'll tell you, and you're like, well, yeah, but change it to do this or change it from this. And you can give it prompts like, I'm a pretty simple guy, and I'm like, hey, write this like an 8-year-old wrote it, or you can be like, write from a lawyer's perspective, or can you write a reply to this speaking from an expert in this field, and it will dictate the writing, depending on the verbiage you put in there. So sometimes you have to be like, hey, I want you to dumb this down, or can you make this shorter? Can you make it longer? All of those things can be done by just telling it to do it. We were just at Southern Monument Builders last week, and the guy was doing one on design. And yeah, the first design, he did up there, it was not what he wanted, but he went back and forth with it for 15, 20 minutes, and it came out to what he wanted, because you can continually tell it based off of this information, change this, change that, change this, and it will continually create new content as you're going. I mean, we had one this last week. It's 4th of July, and in Longville, it's a big, huge 4th of July parade. So we were struggling to do with a float, being that we do landscape products, masonry supplies, insulation, monuments, all of these different things. How do you portray that in a float? And home small town team. And we were typing that into chat. And actually, we even had just told us to design it afterwards. And here it split out a trailer with landscape materials and a fire pit and some monuments on the side, and then a landscape wall or an insulation wall in the back. And we're actually using that for the float. So check our Facebooks, you'll be able to see what we came from. But that's a great idea, is like, how do you incorporate this? And you can use this as brainstorming and ideas from you. Like literally just go in there and start asking it questions, and it will give you responses. Again, Google's making some huge changes. Their AI overview, like I said, every time I've logged into Google lately, it asks, do I want to switch to AI mode? And it's taking place of a lot of websites, right? I mean, you used to Google an answer, and now it's that top AI overview that most people are reading. I did have a conversation with a marketing guy just the other day about how to utilize that better. And he says it's pretty much the same as what Google has used with its SEO. So, I mean, if you have a really good performing website, if your SEO is there, if your website's updated, if you have the blog, so you have all the information, right? If it's basically taking from the top ranked websites anyways, and pulling that information and just bundling it into an AI overview. So, because it actually, if you drop down in the AI overviews, it'll show you, do you want to link to that website. So you can't feed ChatGPT information like, hey, do this, and it's going to, for my company. So it's just more importance on making sure that your website content is up to date and current, updated frequently, and so on. I'm not an SEO expert, but that's what they tell me. Again, this was another one for American Institute. What is it? It gives you the AI overview of exactly what it is. So pretty simple, and that's going to be your new common thing you're going to see there. That's kind of a short and sweet of it. Again, my name is Nathan Lange, president of Northland Companies and also the president of MBNA. I've talked to a lot of different people about the AI presentations I've done in the past, and the biggest takeaway is I hope you guys are learning this stuff and utilizing it. I had a meeting with a guy the other day, and he's been using it internally, and he's feeding it his information and his policies and his systems and procedures and telling it to save itself. And they're starting to use that as a training module for their new employees. So they're like, have the employee ask it questions, and it'll spit out answers that based on what they've been giving it. So this is going to be a huge tool. It's basically, it's the new internet, I would say. I mean, I don't know of anybody that's writing a magazine article or a well-written email or anything like that that's not using it to a certain extent. Another great thing is, Google reviews, responding to good ones, and there's also bad ones, right? I mean, I've had a few bad Google reviews and just didn't see eye to eye with the customer, and you can copy their responses, Google, and tell you to write a well-written Google review, a response to a Google review, and it'll spit out a very well-written response, not the one that you're thinking in your head. Because that sometimes that anger gets ahead of us, and we're like, hey, I'm going to respond. But, it gives you a really good response to that. And also, if you're looking at it, writing a quick letter or a quick thank you note to the customer, or any of that stuff, I mean, type it into chat and say, write me a 2-sentence this, and it'll do that for you too. So I think there's a lot of uses there in the monument industry, even with our, older generations and new ones coming in. We just had a sales meeting not too long ago within our company, and you can use it for brainstorming ideas for a monument. If you have a customer contact you and be like, hey, I'm a farmer, I like acreage and this bird or whatever it may be, use it. Say, I got a person looking for a monument for this information. We can get into the design side of things too. Like I said, I'm not doing a lot of that, but it'll help you brainstorm ideas. Or if you have a company that you wanted to work with for a long time, we've been trying to with some veteran stuff we're doing, and we call them, cold call them, but we started using ChatGPT to write, hey, I'm contacting such and such group to possibly show them what we can do for civic memorials or public memorials. How do I go around approaching them? This hasn't worked and this hasn't worked. And it literally will spit out 5 or 6 different versions of ways to contact them or ways to follow up that you don't even know. So it's a great brainstorming tool and a great a tool in your bag. And again, this is just one of those things, like we often say in the monument stuff, it's the tool in your bag. It's just another chisel. It's just another, stencil or a plotter or whatever to use. So hopefully you guys can use it to your best of your ability. That's it. I'm short and sweet.
Well, thank you, Nathan. I'll give folks just a couple minutes here if anyone wants to put any questions into the chat or into the Q&A box. While we're giving folks some time for that, I'll say personally, one thing I really love ChatGPT for is, since I do a lot of stuff with events and spreadsheets and registrations and things, ChatGPT is really good if you need like an Excel formula to like compare two lists or sort something out, or how do I, reformat this list into some other list. You can just ask it to do that and it will give you like formulas that work perfectly in Excel Word, and it saves me so much time and headache.
Yeah, I mean, it's really amazing, and it limits, you're only limited by your imagination of what you want to put into there. Like I had a conversation down in Texas, and like I said, we were talking about our numbers and profit and losses, and we were going through some of the business side of things. And I'm like, have you ever just put that into chat, export your profit and loss to an Excel sheet and import that Excel sheet into chat and compare your next couple of years, and it will give you comparisons of where you're up, where you're down. And you can also ask it, like, compare this to current market trends. You can, so we do a lot of different things, but you can see where everything's going. You can track your marketing dollars. You can, all of that stuff. And it's all formulas and base. And like, you literally like, hey, figure this out for me. And it does it for you. It's pretty amazing, really, where it's can't come in the last, even in the last 6-8 months of us using it. Just how much we've used it. And like, again, with the Plod, the hardest hurdle I've ever had was actually opening it, right? It's this neat little thing. It's right here. And I forget to use it more often than not, but I've really found it helpful with all of our job reviews and all of our, all of that type of stuff. It's all recorded and it's all right there. And it gives me a summary. I like summaries of the events. Another thing we came up with, we were working with some of the stuff we were working through was our after purchase touches. So monument industry, right? You have a lot of lead time typically. So you come in and buy a monument, especially if you're importing or you're buying whatever. It could be anywhere from 3 to 8 months. During COVID was longer, right? So we use chat and came up with after purchase touches, we call them. So there's 5 different touches that the customer is receiving, like just follow-up stuff. And you can create all this stuff and have it automatically done depending on the CRM you're using and all of this other stuff. But we were like, well, what should we say, right? How do you say your monument's still not here? Like, that doesn't sound that good, right? So there's a lot of different things you can say, like, hey, how do we tell a customer that we're still thinking of you? We still have your monument. It's still up, it's been shipped, it's on the water, whatever it may be. And they can write a really nice email or really nice steps to follow. And so we created the 5 different steps along the way. Or how do you tell a grieving mother, that I know you're not ready to buy, but can you please buy, right? And make it nice and warming. And I'm a pretty blunt guy, and it does a very good job with all of that.
Yeah. Sure. Well, I'll say on behalf of everyone, thank you, Nathan, for being here today, sharing all your information and experience with us. As I mentioned at the top of the call, this will be available to MBNA members through the MBNA website. If you're interested in future webinars, please be sure to keep up with your MB brief. I believe our next webinar is coming up on July 10th from Win MBNA. And with that, I'll let everyone get back to their day.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.